Bruchim haboim. Welcome everyone. We're about to begin Be'ezras Hashem together on Daf Yud Gimel Amud Aleph. 6 lines from the top. The Gemara returns to the Mishnah that states, prior to Yom Kippurim, we prepare another Kohen Gadol in the event that the original Kohen Gadol becomes posel, cannot do the avodah. Since the entire avodas Yom Kippurim is dependent on the Kohen Gadol, we are concerned that if it becomes posel, then we're stuck. So therefore, a separate Kohen Gadol is designated in such an event. Rabbi Yehuda adds that we also designate a second wife, just in case the original wife were to die, since the pasuk states, "V'chiper be'adoi u'bi'ad beisoi," and beisoi is a reference to his wife. Therefore, to effect the atonement on Yom Kippurim, the Kohen Gadol must be married. So therefore, Rabbi Yehuda said we designate a second wife in the event that the first wife were to die. Ask the Gemara of Rabbanon, Nami hachayshi l'shema. But we see that the Rabbanon are concerned about a potentiality that perhaps the Kohen Gadol become posel, and therefore we have to designate another Kohen Gadol in his place. Why aren't they concerned with Rabbi Yehuda's concern that maybe the wife will die? Omar loch Rabbanon, the Rabbanon will say to you, Tuma shchicha, misa lo shchicha. Tuma is somewhat common, therefore we have to then be concerned about that. Whereas being concerned about she dying, that is something that is not common. Amru loi, in kain ein ledavar soif. The Mishnah says that their response to Rabbi Yehuda is, if you're going to designate a second wife, because you're worried that the original wife will die, then you have to be concerned that the second wife will die too, and you have to designate another wife. Says the Gemara, Shapir ka'amrei leila Rabbi Yehuda. Indeed, this is a very good argument. This is very well what the Chacham are saying to Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda, Amar Loch, Rabbi Yehuda will respond to you and say, Lemisa dechada chashinam. Lemisa tarti lechashinam. Misa for one wife we are concerned, but to be concerned about two wives dying, that we're not concerned. Rabbanon, the Rabbanon said, then to train chashinam. If we are concerned about something that's not shchiach, like a woman dying, then we should be concerned about a second wife dying as well. Now the Gemara turns back and asks on the Rabbanon. V'Rabbanon neimre inhu l'nafshayu. The same way the Rabbanon said to Rabbi Yehuda that ein ledavar soif. So they should say back to themselves the same question, ein ledavar soif. And therefore, maybe this second Kohen Gadol will find a psul, whereby you have to designate a third Kohen Gadol. Ve'ein ledavar soif. Answers the Gemara, Amrei loch Rabbanon Kohen Gadol zorizhu. The Kohen Gadol, he is zoris. He'll be careful to ensure that he doesn't become posel. Ask the Gemara, is zorizhu lama maskinan kohen acher? If he indeed is so careful that he shouldn't carry, for example, and become posel, so then why do we have to designate another Kohen Gadol? Answers the Gemara, kivan da'avdinan leitzora kol shekain demizdareis tfei. Once we have to designate another person to be somebody who may take his position, then he's on his guard. He's even be more careful to be zoris that he should not become posel. Ask the Gemara, umisagi le bitakanto. Let's go back and say that which Rabbi Yehuda says, you must require a second woman to be designated as his wife. Ask the Gemara, is that going to be a sufficient takana to then just prepare another woman in her place? Says the Gemara, Beisoy amorachmona v'hachlav beisoyu. The Torah says Beisoy, his wife. You just prepare another woman, that's not going to be a wife. So therefore, that won't help. Answers the Gemara, the mekadesh lo. He is mekadesh her, and therefore it should be satisfactory. Ask the Gemara still, v'ho kama deloy konis lo la beisohi. So long as she's not a full-fledged wife, he didn't take her and bring her underneath the chuppah, then indeed it's not considered to be beiso, his wife. Answers the word the konis lo. We're talking about where he did take the woman, not only was a mekadesh her, but he also was machnis her into the chuppah and did nisuin. In Cain asked the Gemara, havole shnei batim. If that's the case, then he has two wives. V'rachmona omar v'chiper bi'adoi u'bi'ad beisoi v'loi bi'ad shnei batim. It says he will effect a kapara, an atonement for himself and his bias and his wife. Mashma singular, only one wife and not two wives. Answers Gemara, the Hoda Megare Shlo. indeed, he goes ahead and is megarish, that second wife. Ask the Gemara, megarish lo, hadra kushin leduchta. If he's divorcing the second woman, then the whole problem returns. Namely, that maybe we're concerned that the first wife will die. Gemara says, lo tzricha de megarish lo al t'nai. When he divorces her with the following t'nai. The Omar lo, he says to her, Harei ze gitech, almanash shetamusi. Behold, this is your get, on condition that you will die. And therefore, if you will die, you'll be divorced, whereby he'll have the original wife to be married to, and he'll only have one woman. Ask the Gemara, v'dilma loy ma'isa, but maybe she will not die. V'hava le'shnei batim, and thereby he'll be left with two women, two wives. Elo, says the Gemara, the Omar lo harei ze giteich almanash shelo tamusi. Rather, he says a different tonight. Here is your get on condition that you do not die. Iloi ma'isa migar shelo. If she does not die, then she's divorced. V'misa, hakaimal hoch. And if she dies, then he has the other wives, whereby he's left with one wife. The Gemara says, "V'dil mehi loy ma'isa v'hava la gita." Maybe she will not die, and she'll be a divorcee, his divorced wife. The high gita, because it's a valid get. U'ma'isa haverto v'kam le b'loy bayis. And then the other one will die, and he'll be left without a wife. And you have to have a wife. Answer the word Ella de Omar lo amanashe tomus achas mikem. Rather, the t'nai is that he divorces her on condition that one of them will die. So meisa ha kaimahach. If this one dies, then the other one will be a sustainable wife. Meisa hach ha kaimaha. If the other one dies, then she will then be a wife. The truth of the matter is she'll be divorced, so that will be a problem too. To which the Gemara asks right away, "V'dilma loy ma'isa v'lo chada minayu." Perhaps she will not die, and he won't have one of them, because indeed havale shnei batim. The Gemara says, if you're going to then say the event that it could have asked the other question, it could have said that if she would be Mesa, then the other one would be divorced. So that would be a problem. He won't have any wives. The Gemara chooses to ask the other way, that perhaps she will not die and he'll be left with two wives again. So therefore, again, that's not a possibility. And further, ki hai gavna mihave gita. In such a scenario, when he makes such a t'nai and says, on condition, he says that both of you, that one of you will die, he says that's not going to be a valid get, the Homa Rava, because Rava states, if he says, I'm going to give you a get on condition that you will not drink wine, both in your lifetime as well as in my lifetime, so that's not a good get. In other words, because then it's not going to be a proper separation. A get requires kursa. It's considered to be a sefer krisus, a book of separation between a husband and a wife. And since there's going to be strings attached, so to speak, that means to say that it's not going to be possible to complete this t'nai, because maybe indeed then she will sometime, who knows about her actually drinking the wine or not, because after all, always sometime in her lifetime, we never know whether she'll drink or not, so therefore she can never fulfill the t'nai and be completely separated from her husband. There'll always be this string attached with this t'nai, so therefore it's not going to be valid. Ein ze krisus. However, kol yemei chayi ploini harei ze krisus. But if, on condition that you do not drink wine in a certain person's life, so then that's something that's viable, that's sustainable to make it, so there'll be a krisus, and therefore it's a valid get. So over here too is not going to be a valid type of t'nai. Elo de amar lo, rather he says to her, Harei ze giteich, behold, this is your get. Al menashe lo tomus chaverteich, on condition that your fellow woman, meaning the other woman, the other wife, does not die. Then this will be your get. If she's alive, then you'll be divorced. Ilao Mesa Chaverta. So if the other one does not die, then Migarsha, she's divorced. Vi Mesa, and if she dies, Ha, this one, Ha Kaima, Ha, then the other one is going to be a viable wife. So he's left with one wife. Ask the Gemara, but that's also not going to be viable because Dilma Maisa Chaverta Bipalgata Avoida. Maybe the wife will die in the middle of the Avoida. And that'll be problematic because that means he started the Avoida with two wives. The Igloi Milsa Lemafreya, the Gita, Ha Lav Gitahu. When on top of Gimel Beis, then it would come out a Gilui Lemafreya. It'll become revealed Lemafreya that indeed it wasn't a valid get. Va'avilei Avoida b'shnei batim, which why he did the first part of the Avoida with two wives. Ella, says the Gemara, da amar lo hareze giteich almanas shetamus chaverteich. Rather, here's your get with the condition that the other wife will die. Then you'll be divorced. V'dilma ma'isa chaverta v'havale gita. Maybe the other one will die, and indeed this will be a get. The hagita v'kamla beloy bias, whereby this will be a divorcee, and he won't have therefore a wife. One will die, and he'll be divorcing the other one. Ella, says the Gemara, the megaresh lehu letrovayu